Sometimes the most dangerous manipulation doesn't come through anger or control, but through unexpected generosity. When someone overwhelms you with attention, gifts, and praise, it can feel a lot like love until it becomes a tool for control. Well, what if those acts of kindness were never meant to bless you, but to bind you? In this video, I'm going to be unpacking how narcissists use generosity as a weapon and how you can protect yourself from being exploited, all while still staying open to real intimacy and healthy relationships in the future. Now first, for those of you who are new to my channel, welcome. I'm Shanine Megji. Welcome to my channel called Toxicity is Not Your Destiny. I create these videos to help you navigate toxic relationships in your life from a biblical, practical, and spiritual perspective. So if you'd like to receive regular content from me on this topic, subscribe to my channel and click the bell so that you can be notified every time I upload a video. Now, let's get into the topic. Narcissists are highly entitled people. They don't believe the rules apply to them, and they expect to be treated as special with superiority as though they're above everyone else. When you combine that entitlement with a lack of empathy, you get a toxic mix that leads to exploitation. They believe they're so entitled that they have the right to take from you, even if it destroys you in the process. And they won't blink while it's happening. If they call themselves a Christian, they may even rage at you for not having a cheerful, submissive, Christ-like attitude while they treat you so destructively. In their minds, if you're hurt in the process, it's somehow your fault, not theirs. It's crazy, I know. It's completely foolish. Let's talk about one of the first and most deceptive ways narcissists exploit you: love bombing. Love bombing can feel like overwhelming affection and care, but there's something much more sinister going on beneath the surface. The love bomber is playing on your need to reciprocate. When someone gives to you, there's a human need to give back, and this is called the psychology of reciprocity, and many marketing strategies use this tactic. But the narcissist takes it to a whole other level in their exploitation. They engage in love bombing, whether with their time or money, attention, gifts, status, or favors. They do this to build you up, affirm you, and make you feel special and important. This might even happen publicly. If the narcissist is a boss or a leader, they might promote you, raise your status, open doors for you, or give you recognition or a platform. They boost you all the time, privately and publicly, giving you so much that you truly feel seen and valued. But here's the catch. This is not authentic generosity. I call it transactional generosity. When a narcissist gives, it's never out of genuine care or selflessness. It's always a transaction. There's an unspoken contract attached to every gift and every favor. The more they give, the more they expect in return. That generosity is about creating leverage over you. At first, it feels wonderful. Who wouldn't want to be treated so well? But soon, those gifts and favors are weaponized to manipulate you and control you. They'll make you feel like you owe them, and that sense of indebtedness makes it incredibly hard to set boundaries or say no. Humans are hardwired to reciprocate. When someone does something kind, we naturally feel compelled to respond in kind, and that's exactly what narcissists count on. They love bomb you, and then they start asking for favors. Sometimes they won't ask outright, but will hint at their needs, expecting you to pick up on it. And you start to feel obligated. This is where the power of exploitation lies, in unspoken expectations. They've done so much for you, and now you're in debt to them. Because they see themselves as superior, They believe that their gifts have more value than anything you could ever give back. Narcissists are masters at using public generosity to craft a perfect image of themselves. They give publicly, lavishing gifts or grand gestures or constant praise, all to build a reputation as being the selfless, self-effacing, kind, super spiritual person. They know exactly how to create a glowing persona that others admire. But these public displays aren't just about impressing you, they're about controlling people's perceptions. Narcissists want everyone around them to see them as generous and good-hearted. So this creates a powerful barrier that traps you, the victim. If they treat you so generously in front of others, then how could you ever speak out about their darker behavior? Who would believe that someone who is so outwardly kind is actually manipulative and abusive behind closed doors? This creates what's known as cognitive dissonance. On one hand, you feel the manipulation, the controlling behavior, the emotional toll it takes in private, but on the other hand, everyone else only sees their public acts of kindness and generosity. So you start to question yourself. Am I overreacting? Could I be the problem here? And it's this confusion that keeps you trapped in silence. The narcissist's public generosity not only controls how others see them, it really controls you too. You feel bound by guilt and shame and self-doubt. Speaking out almost feels impossible because it would mean going up against the entire image they've created. This manipulation through public generosity is one of the most powerful ways narcissists keep you tethered. It makes it so much harder to set boundaries or escape the relationship. As you're hearing this, you may realize just how deep these emotional traps go and how overwhelming it can feel to escape them. But be encouraged. There's hope, and there is a path to recovery. I know how complicated healing from narcissistic abuse can be, but there are clear stages along the way. If you're wondering where you are on your recovery journey, I've created a free quiz to help you identify what stage you're in and what steps you can take to move forward. This quiz is designed to give you clarity through an assessment report, and it also offers free resources that can help guide you on your path to healing. You can take the quiz by clicking on the link in the description box below, and you will receive a free report. I do hope it helps you as you navigate this difficult journey with hope and with faith. So let's continue on. One of the big ways that narcissists exploit you with their generosity is to hold their so-called generosity over your head, making you feel forever indebted to them. You feel like you owe them your time, your energy, your money, and even your life. Sometimes your life doesn't even feel like your own anymore. It's as though you've sold your soul to them without realizing it. Narcissists feel entitled to take whatever they want from you with no regard for boundaries. This is how they exploit your natural inclination to reciprocate, pushing it to unhealthy, destructive levels. After love bombing, when you start giving back, they'll soon begin acting rude and unkind. In their minds, they're entitled to act this way because they've invested in you. That's how they control and secure their hold on you. At first, you might think they've given so much, but when you step back objectively and see the cost to your emotional, spiritual, financial, and physical well-being, you'll realize they gave you an inch, but took a mile. Maybe many, many miles. Another way narcissists exploit you is by getting you to be dependent on them. In the early stages of the relationship, they may overwhelm you with gifts, help, favors, which all feel wonderful. They make you feel valued and cared for. But of course, as the relationship deepens, you begin to rely on them more and more and more. And this creates a situation where you feel like you need the narcissist to navigate in your life, whether it's for financial support, emotional dependence, or to help with everyday tasks. They position themselves as someone you can't live without. So this dependency makes it much harder to leave the relationship. So how do you safeguard yourself from being exploited by a narcissist's generosity? The first way to safeguard yourself is by asking God for wisdom and discernment. The Bible warns us about the dangers of these types of people. In 2 Corinthians 3, 1-5, it says, "But mark this, there will be terrible times in the last days. People will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boastful, proud, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy, without love, unforgiving, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, not lovers of the good, treacherous, rash, conceited, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having a form of godliness but denying its power. Have nothing to do with such people." That is pretty drastic. Have nothing to do with such people. In these times, we are dealing with more abusive, narcissistic, predatory people than ever before. So we need to be way more discerning than ever before. With the rise of social media and narcissism, this is the era we live in. I frequently ask God for wisdom and discernment, and I encourage you to do the same. Ask God to bring the right people into your life, to keep out the wrong ones, and remove the relationships that aren't good for you. Sometimes when things seem too good to be true, they are. Number 2, don't rush into relationships even if the other person is showering you with affection, attention, offers of help early on. Narcissists will often push the relationship forward quickly, hoping to gain control before you have time to set boundaries. So I would suggest you deliberately create space and observe how they react to your need for time and distance, because narcissists hate boundaries. The reality is that healthy relationships take time to grow. If someone doesn't respect your boundaries, that is an important red flag. Also, consistency over time is key. Watch how their behavior changes, especially when things don't go their way. Be wary of any relationship that feels rushed, where things are happening too fast for your comfort level. Number 3, involve people you trust in your life. Let them weigh in on the relationship and give their discernment. Narcissists often try to create an image of themselves early on in the relationship, but people outside of that intensity can often see red flags more clearly. So don't be afraid to introduce this new person to other people. You don't have to be the only one determining whether someone has a good character or is right for you. Sometimes a close friend or family member will pick up on behaviors or inconsistencies that are easy to miss when you're emotionally invested. Number 4, keep your life balanced. Maintain your friendships, family relationships, hobbies, and work. Don't allow the new relationship to consume all your time or let the person isolate you from your support system. A narcissist will often try to control your world by cutting you off from others. Keeping healthy connections outside of the relationship helps you stay grounded and prevents emotional dependency. This independence is crucial in maintaining perspective. Number 5, be cautious with early declarations of love. Another thing I want to mention is this. Anyone who is quick to say things like, "I love you," or "you're the answer to my prayers," early in the relationship, that could be a red flag. And the reason is simple. No one person knows you well enough early on to make such declarations. If someone is saying these things too soon, it means they aren't really seeing you. They don't know you well enough to say they love you. How can they? They haven't taken the time to really get to know you. What they've fallen for is an image of who they think you are, or worse, who they want you to be, and not the real you. So these grand declarations at the start of a relationship are often a sign that the other person isn't interested in genuinely getting to know you. Their words may be a tool to manipulate and control you, or to get what they want, or fast track the relationship faster than you may want to go. They might be driven by their own insecurities and fear of losing you, so they rush to create an emotional bond before there even is a solid foundation established. Or they could be using these early declarations as part of a love bombing strategy. So watch out for that. Number 6, Be careful with massively generous gestures out of the blue and early on in the relationship. Think carefully before you accept. Pray about it. That person may be setting the stage to ask for bigger favors later on, which begins the cycle of depleting you of your time, your money, and energy and resources. And I'm not saying you should go into relationships being skeptical and cynical, because that's how the enemy wants you to feel after you've been hurt by the abuser, to push you into the other ditch, which is to be skeptical and cynical about everyone and everything. The enemy would love to steal your joy and rob you of the goodness that you could experience in relationships. But remember, Jesus came to give you abundant life. We're meant to live from a place of joy and love and peace. So I'm not saying to be cynical when you're approaching new relationships, but what I am saying is to be wise and discerning. Jesus said, I'm sending you out like sheep among wolves. Therefore, be as shrewd as snakes and as innocent as doves. And given the times we live in, we need to take these words seriously. Number 7, pay attention to early signs and trust your gut. When you enter into new relationships, go in there highly sensitized. Keep one ear open to the Holy Spirit and the other ear to your intuition. If something feels off, even if you can't pinpoint why, trust your gut feelings. Narcissists are often charming, charismatic, but subtle things may not add up. So give yourself time to process and reflect on the other person's behavior. If you're left feeling ashamed or put down regularly, pay attention in the beginning stages of the relationship. We tend to write off little things as minor annoyances, but if these things keep happening, they're probably not just annoyances. They're probably early signs of bigger problems. So please don't ignore the small things. They could be tips of massive icebergs that only get worse as time passes. Number 8, don't be in a rush. Trust God. You might feel rushed to have a relationship or start a family or just move forward with your life, but I want to encourage you, don't fall into that trap. Trust God, even if you feel like time is running out or you're getting older. Don't let fear push you into a relationship before you're ready. Remember, God is in control of time. He can multiply it, redeem it, and extend it. Don't let fear keep you from taking your time and really getting to know someone. If someone is rushing things, that is a red flag. Number 9, never do anything out of fear of missing out. FOMO. Your decision should always be led by God and not by FOMO. Even if you're worried the person won't stick around, that's likely a tactic that they're using. If they set those kinds of conditions for you now, they'll likely use it later to manipulate and control you. Narcissists know how to play on your fear of rejection and abandonment. Remember, if you let God take charge of your life, He will order your steps beautifully. He can turn your ashes into something beautiful. He will lead you into your purpose and do it in a way that leaves you better off after the trial than before. That's the power of God to restore and redeem the broken and lost years of your life. So I hope this video was helpful. If you'd like to see more content from me and haven't subscribed, go ahead and click the subscribe button. And don't forget to take my short quiz to see where you are in your healing journey from narcissistic abuse and receive my free report, which will lead you to some free resources. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.